that deliver on, and today we're talking about the release plan forecast chart and being able to identify when it will be done. Let's get started.
We've heard a lot of positive feedback from, I think, every client that we've used this on, as far as they want this question answered. So not only can it help us track where we're at with the delivery and if we're on track or if we need to make adjustments, but it allows us to also see based off of the actual. So we can make estimates at the beginning of a project, but we can then see as we go through that how the actual delivery makes an impact to the release backlog and when things will be completed. So the things, really three factors that this takes into consideration is the backlog size, velocity estimates, as well as backlog growth estimates. And so we really came up with this as well as we were on a client project a while ago. And going into it, we had our backlog size. Once we started getting into the project, we identified a lot of different bottlenecks and roadblocks that we were going to run up against that will impact the delivery of that project. And so based off of then, we needed to have an updated forecast of, well, now based off of what we know, when will things be done? And then how do we make adjustments to that as well? So that's where we kind of came up with this whole core concept, but it's really the question that everybody wants answered as well. After we had this put together, we were able to see and communicate even to the client, like, this is where we're at today, and this is when we think we're going to be done after we got done with the sprint, all of that updated. So where's our current backlog now? Because we know backlogs usually don't stay the same size, but where are we at now too, based off of our actual velocity, not just our estimated velocity. This is something that we create at the very beginning of the project, but it's updated ongoing then. So after each sprint, we can get an updated view of now when will it be done? Did we have unexpected backlog growth that is going to extend this out? Are we not hitting our estimated velocity? Do we need to make any changes to the teams? Do we need to pull back the scope on the project itself? Those are all different adjustments that we can make, even just based off of this data and this information that we can put together. So this is maybe what an initial project for release forecast chart might look like. Granted, there's only 6 sprints. Typically, projects are a little bit longer than that. But it's really just showing that, hey, yeah, we can put in some estimates for our velocity, which are these blue bars here. And then the orange line is really telling us, based off of our estimates, and backlog growth is actually already factored into this as well. But based off of our estimated velocity and estimated backlog growth, how quickly do we think we're going to be able to burn down that backlog, and when do we think we're going to be done? Now, it's also good to be able to look back and see where were we. It tells a story as well. So this is a one variation and one example from one of the projects I'm on right now of how our phase 1 went. One thing that we added to this, you may not have noticed on the other one either, is the client also wanted to just be able to see, and it was really helpful as we went, but what was our initial forecast of when we were going to be done versus then as we went along, how is our forecast changing based off of our actuals? So we always had this baseline to go back to and refer back to. And we're really trying to make sure that that line stayed right where it was at. However, as we started going, we didn't have the team fully together at the very beginning. We had some people drop off of the project. We had new people join. So you can see here at the very beginning, we never really, we were exceeding our estimates at the very beginning, but then we started to drop out because we had quite a few team changes in there. Now, once we kind of hit this mark, this line went out quite a bit. And it was that initial indicator of we need to start taking a look at this because our where we're at now is putting the project at risk. So we were able to ramp up the team and make that adjustment to be able to make sure that we were able to keep with that same release date. Now you can see here then too, these spikes in the orange line also indicate something else, which not necessarily tied to velocity and our ability to deliver, but this is indicating that all of a sudden we had a huge growth in the backlog. And so you can then see too, very shortly after that, we also ramped up some more too. So we added additional team members to be able to handle that additional backlog, again, so that we could always stay within our expected forecast of completion.
So the red line jumps around a little bit from snapshot to snapshot.
Yep, it can adjust every single sprint, and this is updated every single sprint because we can say, well, we're forecasting today that's going to be done in sprint 22. However, after this next sprint, we could have had additional backlog growth added to the project. We could have maybe lost a couple of resources, or velocity maybe has just never stabilized and gotten to what we thought our original or initial estimates were. And that's a reality as well. So, because a lot of times too, if you look back at this one, right, this is great. If for a brand new team though, this is like a shot in the dark. If you're putting together a brand new team, you really don't have any type of gauge as far as what their velocity is going to be. So it's good to have something out there as far as what do we think we can do, and getting that input from the team. But that may need to be adjusted as the team begins to deliver. Maybe their velocity is a lot higher than what they originally estimated. And when you see that normalize out, then you can make that adjustment to the release plan as well.
Everybody, thanks for watching today. I'm really glad you guys could all join us. And as we went through discussing how to track and monitor the progress of the project based off of the release plan forecast.